I can still hear her voice, sharp, venomous, echoing across that glittering room. "You're a worthless loser," she screamed, her wine glass trembling in her manicured hand. Her friends froze. The music didn't stop. The laughter around us didn't halt immediately, but my world did. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I just looked at her, really looked at her, the woman I had once built my life around, and said quietly, "You know what? You're right." Then I smiled. Not the kind of smile that hides pain, but the kind that hides a plan. We've been married 8 years. We met when I was building my first startup from a cluttered apartment, and she was still working her way through fashion school. Back then, she loved my ambition. She said I had fire. But fire, I've learned, only impresses people until it stops warming them and starts making them sweat. When the business failed, when the investors pulled out, and when I started rebuilding quietly from scratch, that's when her tone changed. Love turned into critique, encouragement into mockery. Then came the parties, the staged performances where she treated me like a prop in her perfect little social showcase. I ignored it. Told myself she was just stressed. Told myself we were both stressed. Until that night. It was her best friend's birthday, an expensive rooftop dinner, all curated smiles and filtered photos. I made a light-hearted joke about how I'd finally get around to fixing the leaky faucet she'd been nagging me about. She snapped, loud and ugly. "You can't even fix your own life. You're a loser." Her friends laughed, not out of cruelty, but discomfort. That's the thing about humiliation, it doesn't need applause to sting. So I told her she was right. I left. Walked out mid-toast, my chair still spinning behind me. But I didn't go home. I went somewhere quieter, somewhere I could think. That night, I opened her laptop. I know, privacy, trust, all that. But trust was already dead. And I found what I didn't want to find, her messages with Ethan, her friend from work. The texts weren't even hidden. Pictures, hotel receipts, private jokes about how I was still trying to rebuild a company while she rebuilt her life with a real man. I didn't rage. I didn't throw things. I just stared at the screen until my reflection blurred in the glass. Then I started planning. Over the next 2 months, I became what she accused me of never being, disciplined. I went silent, calm, let her believe I was sinking. Meanwhile, I was selling what little we had, quietly liquidating assets, moving money, cutting her out legally, cleanly, quietly. And the new business I'd been building in secret? It wasn't failing. It was thriving. I just signed a deal that would make me a millionaire again. But this time, I kept it quiet. She thought I was working late, trying to salvage what was left of my pride. In truth, I was signing over everything she thought she owned, the car, the house lease, the joint accounts, back to me. And Ethan? Let's just say I found his wife's Instagram and sent her a few screenshots. The beauty of revenge is precision, not anger. Anger is loud. Precision is final. 3 weeks later, her friends invited me, yes, me, to another one of their parties. They said they wanted to make peace. I went, not because I wanted peace, but because I wanted an audience. She didn't expect me to show up. She was radiant, pretending nothing had happened. Ethan wasn't there. Apparently, his wife had found out about something, and he was dealing with it. I brought a gift, a small envelope. Inside were copies of the finalized divorce papers, the deed to the house transferred to my name, and a polite note, "You were right. I stopped being your loser. I became my own winner." I handed it to her in front of everyone. She opened it, eyes scanning, face draining of color. Then I said calmly, "By the way, your friend Laura says hi." She had told me what my ex said about me that night. Turns out Laura preferred honesty over drama, and that was true. Laura had texted me a few days after the rooftop humiliation, apologized, and told me everyone thought she'd gone too far, that they were starting to see through the act. I left before my ex could respond, just like before, chair still spinning behind me. 2 weeks later, her friends stopped showing up on her feed. The brunches, the selfies, all gone. Turns out people don't like being lied to, especially when the lies start spilling into their own lives. Ethan lost his job, an HR scandal. My ex-wife lost her circle and her mask. Last I heard, she moved out of the city. As for me, I moved on. Started quietly, deliberately, just like before. Same fire, new direction. Sometimes I still think about that night, the way her words cut through me. Funny how she thought she was breaking me. She was just carving out the man I was meant to become. The truth is, I needed that humiliation. It woke me up. I wasn't her loser. I was just a man who had forgotten his own value. And when I remembered it, she lost hers. So when people ask what happened, I tell them the truth, she screamed. I smiled. And then I stopped being her story. Now she's just a chapter in mine.